Well, hello, everyone. This is Lance and Tracey Smith from San Diego, and we want to welcome you all to this weekly call. Tonight, we're your MCs, and it's great to be here with you. Although we're not in San Diego, we're in a hotel room in Los Angeles, so that explains the backdrop. But we're honored to be on this call. We've got this going around the world, and we know there's a lot of you that are watching this, all different parts of the globe, but it's a very exciting time for us, and I know there's some absolute legends that are on this call right now, and there's some of you looking at this for the first time, and we just want to welcome all of you to this movement, to this new story that we're creating around the world. We're creating something amazing, and it's fun to have you part of it. And it's hard to explain the magnitude, really, of what it is that we're doing. What it is we're putting together. For Tracey and I, we have a 35-year career in this industry, and it's interesting because when you start in the industry, you really don't get to pick. It's kind of like picking your parents. You don't get really a chance to pick your parents. Your parents, decide they're going to have kids, and you come along. And it's that way when we join this industry. The first company we actually joined was started 7 years before we were even born, and we got in 28 years later. My cousin came down and showed my parents an opportunity, and they walked out of their house, and I sat there and I listened, and it changed my life forever. But as we started to see success in our 20s and 30s, we started to hear the stories of all the founding people, how they put it together. We heard about their courage and all the struggles they went through at the beginning, and the vision they had, and the foundational principles that made that company great. And I'll tell you, we are at that time in history right now. We are at that point with this new story. We're creating something amazing, and it's just it's exciting to see this unfold. It's exciting to have so many great people be part of it, and really, for those of you on this call, you really have the chance to join us on this journey. You have a chance to become a part of this amazing story, and we certainly challenge you to do so. Obviously, we're in pre-launch. We still have just over a month to go before we get announced the company and the products and what we're going to be doing. But until then, we wanted to cast the vision and make sure that the foundational principles are in place. And so today we're in Los Angeles. We actually had a chance to have lunch with Kim and another absolute legend in this industry that's going to be joining us, and you're going to hear more about them as we move forward. But it was incredible to see the excitement and see the synergy from people in the room that, obviously Kim has had great success. We have been blessed. This other leader has done very, very well and blessed the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. And it was so cool to sit around the table and see the synergy and the energy coming out of what we're creating and what we're putting together. I wish we could have had this Zoom call there, and you could just see the excitement and the enthusiasm coming out of everyone as we talked about what we're doing and what we're building. And at one point, it was funny. We started to talk about being able to speak from stage. And although we've got 35 years of experience, and Kim's similar, and this other leader that does as well, we all looked at each other, and it was almost like, no, you speak from stage. And we obviously want to share what we've learned over the years. But our whole goal and our dream as we create this is we want new stories. We want to hear your story. There's some of you on this call right now that nobody knows who you are. You're not even sure if you're going to do this, but I'm telling you, as we launch this and move forward in the right direction, the whole world's going to know your story if you decide to roll up your sleeves and come run with us and join us on this. And so it's an exciting time. We're not alone. We're attracting a crowd of amazing leaders worldwide, and we are creating this project the right way for the right reasons.
That's right. So we're going to be talking about goals tonight, and we're very excited about that with Kim. And I just wanted to start off by maybe telling you a little bit of a story. Actually read a Chinese proverb, but I'm going to mix it up a little bit. This proverb kind of talked about heaven and hell, but we're going to talk about maybe the unsuccessful networker and the successful networker. So it's my pleasure to kind of paint you a little picture of a story about goal setting tonight. First of all, so let's say there's two rooms right now. So there's two rooms, and the one on the left and the one on the right are the exact same contents inside the room. There's a large table, right? And in the middle of that table, there is the most scrumptious, beautiful, smelling, wonderful food. I mean, absolutely. Same as in the left, same as on the right, same exact contents. And on those tables, there's 12-foot chopsticks, right? And on the unsuccessful, the left, that room has one person with 9 empty chairs, right? But on the right hand side, there's 10 full chairs and the same chopsticks, 12 feet. But in the left room, there's this guy, and he's sitting there in horror, screaming, because every time he picks up his chopsticks, he reaches for the food, but it's so long to be able to go back and feed himself. The food falls, and he's in agony because of all this wonderful food. You know, he wants it so bad, and he's starving to death. But in the right-hand side, there's 10 full seats with 12-foot chopsticks that can actually pick up the food, but instead of having to turn that food around and feed themselves, what they do is they reach across the table. And so each person is reaching over and feeding their people. That's the successful networker. That's what it takes in our industry, is to feed the people. And so I just want to encourage you. I think you've seen the comp plan if you're on this call tonight, and you know to max a lot of the comp plan out, you need 10 full chairs, right? And you need to be willing to feed people. That's when you're going to be fat and happy and enjoy life of the networking experience. And so my goal tonight is to tell you, you better be talking to people. You don't need to know every single detail. You have the comp plan, but you have the confidence in someone like a Kim Wheat, a Samson Lee, a Lance Smith, whoever invited you here to this plate and to this table. Turn your chopsticks around and start feeding people. People are hungry. They want a reason to live, to enjoy life, and to create a legacy.
Yeah, it is. It is amazing. People are looking right now. The whole industry, actually, the whole world needs what this industry has to offer, and we're creating that thing right now. And the fact that you're on this call right now, we are talking about dreams and goals tonight. Next week, we'll get in more into the action plan of what to do next. We've already covered the vision, we've covered the compensation plan, but we're going to talk about dreams and goals. And even though we don't know all of you that are on this call, we do know about you. Because the fact that you're on this call, it means something. It means a few things. It means, number one, that you're searching for something. Otherwise, you'd be watching TV right now or going to work or doing something different. And so we know that you're looking. We also know that you likely have a dream. You know, and I don't know what that dream is for you. For everybody, it's a little bit different. Maybe you want the opportunity for a better life, to improve the circumstances around you. Maybe you want some financial freedom, so that you can make choices and you can have a life by design, and you can decide when you want to wake up and what you want to do, and you know, be able to spend time with the people that you love. Maybe you have a dream to support other people, maybe mentally, physically, spiritually, or financially, or maybe your dream is to build something significant. But the fact that you have a dream, I'm telling you, there's rooms for all of that in this space. And I get to introduce the keynote speaker for tonight. And I'll tell you, you know, most people in life, they have a funny concept of money. You know, obviously we've all seen people that maybe made some money and we say, the money ruined them because they became, you know, horrible after they made money. But the truth of the matter is this, is that money in the right hands does some great things, but money is also a magnifier. Really, what money does is it magnifies who it is you are. And I've watched this for the last 35 years. We've been blessed to travel the world and be shoulder to shoulder with some of the wealthiest, most influential people in the world. And I will tell you, it does magnify. And if you're a bad person, it makes you a worse person. But if you're a good person, it makes you an incredible person. And I will tell you, I had a chance. I've known of Kim Wee over the 30 years that we've been involved. We were partnered in our last company together, and she is an absolute legend. But I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, for the last 4 months, I've got to know her. I've been to several of her houses. We've traveled around. We've flown together. We've met up in different places around the country. And I will tell you, you know, what you see is what you get. And I can't think of anyone really in my life that I've met that has had the financial success that Kim has had, and has the most impact on the lives of other people. And she's still just a great human being. She's a great person. We love her to death. And we couldn't be more grateful and thankful at this point in our life and at this stage of our career to be partnered with our very, very good friend, Kim Wee. So Kim, why don't you jump on and take it away?
Thank you, Lance and Tracey, and thank you for the introduction. And, as the world turns, we were together today at lunch, and now I'm back at home and you're at the hotel. So thank you for that, for all you do and for your leadership. This truly has been an incredible last couple of months. And we are very fortunate to have you and Lance and Tracey to be a part of this, to spearhead this. I think that there are points in our lives that we have done something in our life that we wanted to give back. And so it is a wonderful thing for me at this stage of my life to be aligned with people with the same value, same virtue, to give back, to do something. And so like Lance and Tracey had mentioned, we have done the vision call, we have done the comp plan. And the next thing is it's building your dream. And because the vehicle is being built right now. We're greasing all the engine and make sure that everything is checked. So the vehicle is prepped, it's being fueled, and it's ready. And so the question then remains, how are we going to drive this? Where do you want to go? Because the vehicle is here. And I think I couldn't think of more of a time for humanity to have something like what we have here right now, to offer hope to entrepreneurs, to offer opportunity to people that are truly wanted to change their lives. And so today the topic will be building your dreams. It is a very broad topic, and maybe perhaps before I talk about that, maybe some of you that do not know me, maybe I share my story, how I, become where I am and who I am. And so, a lot of times when you have some success in any industry, there's a tendency of people like teeing you up and you get all the accolades. But let me kind of bring it back to 30 years ago where I was and how I get to where I am. And sometimes maybe through that story of my journey of went from where I was to where I'm here today, that you get a little inkling and inspiration, a little perhaps something that resonates with you here and here, that connect, that for you to understood what we have being prepped, a vehicle, and how you're going to apply the things that Lance, Tracey, and many other on this call that are ready to take this thing to the next level, because the industry that we've been involved with are crying out for a change, for a shift, to be elevated. And so I tell you, from yesterday and today, I must have talked to about 15 major heavy hitters in this industry. I was like, where you guys been? I mean, how come all these years I didn't know you? But we're all coming together to want to do something. And that gives me goosebumps as I talk, as I work. I mean, all of us are putting 16, 17 hours a day to launch this thing. So with that said, allow me to kind of tell you a little bit my story. About 30 years ago, I was 28 years old. So not too bad at age 58. Okay, so I was 28 years old at the height of my corporate career. I was a vice president for a supplement company here in Los Angeles. Anyway, just when I thought I was at the height, I got laid off. I was fired. Didn't know what I was going to do. So I was introduced to this industry. So I still recall when I got involved in this industry, one of the things that, and I started reading books, besides this being an incredible business platform, it was really an incredible self-improvement platform, but with a compensation plan attached to it, okay? So I began to read books, I began to work on myself. And I remember one of the things I did, and someday, back in those days, we didn't have digital camera. So I took this picture, and then someday when I have time, I want to find that photo and I'll share it with you guys. There's a photo of me in my home office, and there was a whiteboard, and I would say, I would put the name of that company, and I would say, like drew a check, and it would say payable to Kim Hui, and the amount was $1 million. Now, back in those days, keep in mind, I was jobless. I got fired, not because of wrongdoing, but because of whatever reason. Okay, so I was laid off. That's a better term. And I had a Mercedes at that time that I didn't know how I was going to make my payments. I had credit card debts that I didn't know how I was going to make the payments. And I had a house and I didn't know how I was going to make the payments. So at that time, I was in debt, no job, but I was fired up. And so I said, okay, you know what is something I want? And some of my childhood dream coming to America was to be a millionaire. I wanted to be a millionaire. So I wrote on that board, it says payable to Kim Hui, $1 million. And I even copied the signature from the president of that company. Okay. And so I kept that picture. I kept that whiteboard there and looking at it every day as I was making phone calls. These are the old days. Okay. I was in the old school of direct marketing back then. And so did I make the $1 million the first year? Mm-mm. Second year? Nah. Third? No. I was at school, but that didn't stop me from pursuing my dream. That didn't stop me from making those phone calls. That didn't stop me to wanting to be a better version of myself. So, but by sharing that story with you, I hope that you get inspired. It doesn't matter where you are in life at this point, because the last 3 years that it has impacted millions of people, but we're about to change that collectively. But it's going to take all of us coming together to do something. And so what I want to share with you to begin with is this: ask yourself the question, what could you be? Think of what is the highest good of yourself that you can conceive of at this moment. It is very important to hold that in your mind. Who could you be? What could you be? Just think about the possibility. Forget about all this, your current circumstances. I want you are looking at a person. I came to America when I was 14 years old. My parents had no money, only $2,000 in their pockets with 4 girls. We live in an apartment, a 2-bedroom, 1 or 2-bedroom apartment in downtown Los Angeles, near downtown Los Angeles. And fast forward that to today. I've been blessed with things that's beyond my wildest imagination. So how did I get here? From broke, didn't speak English, grew up in a family that had little to nothing, to where I'm here today. There's a lot that went on in between. But what went on first and foremost was right in between my 2 ears. So I hope that I want to share this with you, that this platform, it's not a business for me. It is a platform through which, yes, there's an opportunity, a vehicle for you to achieve financial freedom. But more importantly, that we could strike that balance through business that will lead us to even deeper meaning in life. Having that balance of wellness physically, mentally, financially, and spiritually. And so that's what this industry has done for me. And that's why I want to put this together. And along with some of the most incredible human beings that I've met, to be working together to offer this to the masses. So having said that, what's the highest version of yourself that you could see at this moment? And the second thing is very important, is having a discipline. You know, it's easy to have big goals and big dreams, but when we lack the discipline to follow through with those dreams, when, it's easy to have a dream and to be excited when things are good. It's when things are tough that when you don't have a purpose, that's when people get lost. That's when people give up. You cannot be depressed and have a passion at the same time. They cannot coexist at the same time. When you're passionate about something, yes, not every day is rosy. There are times I go through ups and downs like everybody else do. But but when you have that passion, it just keeps you focused and you just move forward. And so I encourage everyone, just like the story of that whiteboard, it was $1 million, but beyond that $1 million, see, it's one thing of having have a goal. It's sometimes, most of the time, I see that people in this industry, when they set a goal, they only put a dollar sign. Like, oh, I want to make $1 million a month, or I want to make whatever dollar amount, I don't know, whatever number. Now everything just become a number to me. But obviously, you got to gone through the path to truly understand what it means by it's just a number. I want to say this. No matter how much money I have, when I was broke or wherever I am here today financially, I can only eat so much. I was telling my friends in Hong Kong, when I was broke, I would eat a bowl of fish ball noodle for lunch or dinner. When whatever dollar digit I have in my bank account, in my assets, a bowl of fish ball noodle makes me happy. So it's not the money that will give you true meaning. And so, but obviously, sometimes in life, it is a journey that we have to go through to realize that, you know what? Someday, I know with this platform, the amount of people that it's going to, the success that's going to create out of this platform, I know someday some of you will come up and say, you know what, Lance, Tracey, Kim, I remember that call on, today is the 16th. I remember that call on January 16th. I finally got what you mean. That money is just a digit. It's just a number. There's a lot more to it than that. So, okay, coming back to the focus. So setting goals. What is your dream? Building your dream. In order for you to build your dream, you got to know what that is. Otherwise, it's just driving aimlessly, right? So let's say, for example, if I'm in Los Angeles and I want to drive back to my other home in Sedona, I got to set a target where I want to drive. Otherwise, I'll be roaming around the freeway, or this way, turn that way. I won't get to where I wanted to go. So it's very important for our fellow entrepreneurs that know what you want and never give up. Never, ever give up until you get there. Now, obviously, we're going to have a little balance, have balance with family, having fun, self-care, self-love, but focus on what is it that you want to achieve in your life? Okay. So let's just say that you want to make, I don't know, $1 million in this platform. Okay. But the key thing is in order for you to have that backing of that meaning, that fuel that drive you is, what would you do with $1 million? I remember as I traveled the world, I've been to I've been to over 50 countries, 52 countries, the last 30 years of my career, and meeting entrepreneurs and business people from all walks of life. The most common thing is, I want to be a millionaire. Like I was broke, but I wanted to be a millionaire. But I didn't really know what $1 million would do for me. So what makes it impactful and meaningful is, what would you do? Instead of saying, I want to be a millionaire or want to have $1 million, why don't we just take a break, take a breath, and say, okay, what would make me happy? At least right now, what kind of financial accomplishment would I need to achieve in order for me to live the lifestyle I want? So you go from there and say, okay, well, I would like to have a decent home. I would like to have money for my kids' education. I would like to travel maybe once or twice a year, whatever that might be. Once you identify what it is that makes you tick, what it is that makes you thrive, what is makes you get excited and get up in the morning and making that phone call and sharing your passion with people, that's what I start with. Now, so let's just say, for example, I remember when I started this industry, I had a home, but I couldn't afford a home, so I couldn't afford the payment, so we rented out. But long story short, there were things. I mean, I got a point. I'm fast tracking my 30-year career with you. There had been a point in my life I was living in a studio. I was building in San Francisco, the company failed, and I lost everything, and I was in an apartment. I was by myself, I was single, and at that time, you know what I did? I went to look at magazines. It doesn't have to be big. I wasn't looking for $1 million mansion. It could be just a kitchen. It could be just a little kitchen with flower, or it could be a little bedroom, just like cozy. That inspired me. So I would cut those pictures, and those are my vision board, or whatever it's called, vision board or storyboard or whatever that is. So I would have a diary that with those things in it. And I would go check on how much it would cost me to create that environment that makes my heart go, you know what? I am happy where I'm at. So I suggest the audience here today that when you pursue a career, not too often times that you get a chance to get prepared for something ahead of time. And that's what we're doing. So make a list of things that make you happy, and then assign a dollar amount that it would take to achieve that. Once you add it all up, let's say that to achieve an environment that you could rest your soul and you go, you know what, I'm really happy and content with what I have. And so when you are at that space, okay, so let's just say it costs you maybe $800,000 to do that. Then you go, okay, now my goal is to achieve this $800,000. Then you're going to break it down, set a timeline in which how soon you want to achieve the 800,000. It could be a year, it could be 2 years. But now you have a target. So now that 800,000, it's no longer just 800,000. There's meaning behind this 800,000. It could be your kids' college education. It could be your vacation money. It could be maybe, ladies, maybe your shopping money. I don't know. So whatever it is that it's in your heart that turns you on. And once you set that target, the very important word that most people, they do not give themselves a chance to follow through. And you know what that word is? It starts with a D. It's called discipline. Disciplining yourself in pursuing your dream. In this platform, in the industry we're in, most of the time is very misunderstood. When you talk to other people, a lot of times, first thing you hear from people is they will say no to you, a lot of naysayers, they try to talk you out of it. And it is at that time, you have to ask yourself the question, do I take that and give up my dream? Or is my dream bigger than what other people are saying? See, in my career, I have received a lot more no's, 1,000-fold more than I got yes. But it didn't stop me because I know what I want in life. In the beginning, it was money. I wanted to be successful. I wanted to be a millionaire. But as I embark on this journey, once you get the money issue out of the way, I discover deeper purpose. I discover deeper meaning. When you see other people are able to send the kids to college, when you see other people are able to buy big homes, nice cars, you see their lives changed, and there's a moment of silence in your recognition of say, wow, perhaps my example, not me, okay? Perhaps I'm talking about that person. Perhaps my example of not giving up, pursuing something, that it actually made a rippling effect. It made an impact on other people. And in this platform, it's not someone that's like a big motivational speaker comes in and teach you what to do. This is like, what is it you want? Let me take your hand. You have someone that will guide you. Say, you know what? And either someone or a system that we have put in place, training talks like these, to say, let me take your hand. Let's do this together. When you are a little derailed or off track from your goal, if you give us permission, we'll say, listen, let's get back on track. Let's do this. You know, I remember when people would say no to me, the question that I asked myself was this. When people either talk down to me, say no to me, it didn't matter. I would say, listen, if they cannot show me a plan to turn my life around, am I going to listen to them? Or am I going to follow my heart? Or am I going to follow something that's deep resonated in me to do something with my life? And I chose the latter one. And so everything is about choice. And you have a choice here today to be a part of something incredible. And I could tell you, yesterday was Sunday, even though I worked from 7 a.m. to, I forgot what time it was, like 1 a.m. The number of people I spoke with and what's in those people's hearts, what they want to do in this platform, including my lunch appointment today. I tell you, thank God. I tell you, I must have done something right, because there's such magic. There's such a divine happening in this platform that it's like God, Papa is sending all the right people in place for us to take humanity, to give hope, to be that voice of hope and bring it to others. So coming back to here. Okay, so now I hope I'm getting my stuff, my point across. So don't just get dollar amount. Assign meaning, assign value behind that dollar amount. So that is setting a goal. A goal have to be specific, like what is it you want? And with that amount of money, what can it bring you? And, you know, you could start small or you could start big. It doesn't matter. You know, for me, it's like, you know, this is a true story. And I want to share this with you. I remember when I first got into the industry, then, you know, and I love my sisters, okay? And they love me and they're very supportive of me now. And I'm very grateful. So I remember my elder sister, which I looked up a lot. And I remember when I first told her about, hey, you know, I'm so excited. I got involved in this. And she goes, Kim, don't tell me you got sucked into one of those deals. You need to go and cancel. This is not for you. You're a bean counter. You don't know anything about sales. You don't know anything about marketing. You're an accountant. So you count beans. So therefore, you got to cancel. So I remember I called my sponsor at that time. I said, listen, you know what? I think I made a little too emotional decision. I said, I think I didn't have money. I put the money on my credit card. And I said, I need to cancel and get a refund. And he says, you know, Kim, before you refund, do me a favor. Attend a training. And if after the training, you still want a refund, I'll help you get a refund. I said, okay, fair enough. I went to a training and I looked at a gentleman, an older gentleman, well, at that time older. I mean, he was in his 60s. I'll be in my 60s in a few years. But anyway, so I go, wow. And he's a very quiet guy. And I go, you know, not very flamboyant. I go, wow, if this guy can do it, I think I could do it too. And the point of that story was, then I asked, because, you know, my sister who loves me and very supportive of me now and says, you know what, Kim, you can't really make money in this industry. It's only a few people at the top that can make money. I said, you know, I thought to myself, isn't it interesting? A lot of the industry, it's only a few people at the top. And my question was, why couldn't I be one of those people? Now, keep in mind, I was dead broke. I was heavily in debts. But I had that question. So at that time, I went back to my sponsor. And I said, listen, can people really make money here? He says, absolutely. And I said, what is someone what is the maximum someone had made in this industry? And at that time, this is many years ago, at that time, he says, about $1 million a month. I said, wow, they make $1 million a month. Then I start calculating. I was an accountant, right? So I said, oh, $1 million a month times 12. Oh, it's only 12 million a year. And so did I do that immediately? No. It took time. It took discipline. And it feels great. It felt great. It's not money, but it felt great to hit that mark. You know, truly, Money is a number. I don't even remember how much money I make a lot of times. But the point I want to share with you all is that disciplining yourself to something that's meaningful to you, that you have a purpose in doing something. Guys, I say this with everything in my heart. I just want to build. I just want to have a legacy so that my friends, my entrepreneurs around the globe will have the same blessing that this platform has blessed me with. I know we're living in times of challenge right now, that many people are looking for a way out. And here we are. We have some of the most, I can tell you last few months, I have met some of the most beautiful people, not only in the field, but from corporate, which you're all about to see. So anyway, I hope this goal setting, this dream building, it helps you, it spark something inside of your heart. It's not the technical know-how, but it is through tapping into beyond your logic, just beyond all this logical thoughts. Put all that aside and say, you know what? What is out there for my highest good? Because all that of your highest good, all the potentiality, all your potential already existed up here, out here. We have to learn to vibrate at a much higher frequency to manifest that down into reality. If I, 40 somewhat years ago, came to America, didn't speak English, didn't have any money, and to now have the blessing to amass the wealth that I have in this incredible country of ours, you could do it too. And it humbles me that I've talked to so many people the last few weeks, that one of the gentlemen that had been involved in the industry, yeah, I think I talked to him yesterday, 32 years, and his enthusiasm, his excitement. He says, Kim, the last 5 days, I only sleep 2 to 3 hours. You know, these hardworking Americans, I want him to hit the jackpot right here. I want him to succeed beyond his wildest dream. And Jeff, my congratulations to you, my friend. And Jeff Becker, you need to get some sleep, okay? You need to have some balance because this is a long haul and we're going to do this and we're going to do this right. So with that, I hope it's been helpful to you as we proceed with until the pre-launch. We're going to have a lot of calls like this. It's not too much of a PowerPoint or these logical steps, but it is through activating your hearts, because this is heart marketing. This is not about selling a product to all your neighbor and friends. No, this is a vehicle to build your dream. Obviously, good product, good compensation is a foundation for a sustainable opportunity. And we've got that. Corporate's got that covered. But what we got to do as entrepreneurs is to begin to work consciously, to have conscientious when you do your business. You know, our innates know what's right and what's wrong. Trust that. We all have the innate ability to distinguish what's right and what's wrong. And I do hope that you choose to do things consciously and to do things to help impact humanity collectively. So I hope that this is I talk slow enough because we have Chinese caption. I hope that the computer, the AI is able to translate that in Chinese for our fellow friends and in Asia, in another part of the world. And so with that, Lance and Tracey, I am grateful to have you, and I'm fortunate and honored to call you as a partner and this beautiful platform to spearhead this, along with Mike McCormick and Samson and many other incredible leaders that are on this call. So with that, call back to you, Lance. And I know that for you guys, you came in the industry when you were 21. Now we're a similar age, a couple of years younger than me, but thank you for all that you've done. And thank you for what you are about to take on with us. So I appreciate you, grateful to have you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Sure appreciate you and appreciate your heart. You know, it's neat because we're sitting at the table today and none of us need to do this, but we want to do it. We're called to do this. We're drawn to this cause. it's it's a hard thing. I thought money would drive us, and we got to a certain point where I had all those things. I was 30 years old, had a big motorhome, lived in a big house, had a lot of money in the bank, and I was depressed because what do you get from there? What you get is a life of purpose, and I appreciate that, and I feel it resonates in every part of you, Kim, and so thank you for that. I just wanted to say one other thing, that I know that there's a lot of people that are hurting on this call, and sometimes it's hard to dream when you're living a nightmare. And I get it. We went through that when I got involved in the industry. It wasn't necessarily the dream that got me, that motivated me at the beginning. It was coming home one day. We got married. We couldn't afford the rent we had. We couldn't afford bills. So I kept getting these letters in the mail that said I was approved, and I'd fill the thing out, and I got myself in debt. And my wife was, Tracey was saying, well, when are we going to get through this? How are we going to get out of this? And it took me coming home one day, that she was off that day, and I came home and she was opening up all the letters of all the final notices, and she was crying. She was crying over a stack of bills. And she looked at me and she said, what are we going to do about this? And I said, well, I don't know, but I'm going to do something. And that's where it started. And at some point, you not only you got to know what you want, but you also got to have to know what you don't want. And what I didn't want is to come home and see my wife crying again. And whatever that is, that whatever you can stir up in yourself, this is the time. We're going to look back in history, and there's going to be people that get along like I did 28 years from now. Kids that aren't even born yet are going to join this opportunity, and they're going to have success, and they're going to talk about the people who put this together, who had the vision, who did this thing right, did this in a moral and ethical way, that had virtue, that built this foundation for years to come, this legacy company. And you all have a chance to be part of that. And so as we wrap tonight, I'm just going to say again that, we started off with the vision call. We had the comp plan call. We talked about dreams and goals. We're going to talk about an action plan next week. Mike McCormick is going to give a little bit of an update of what we can from the company side. Again, we can't get too deep, but anytime we get a chance to get information, we had a call with corporate yesterday, and we're like, what can we tell them? Come on, give us something. And so we're going to keep that flowing out. We're excited to be able to reveal all of that as soon. But until then, what we want to do is we want to have an army of people who've got the right ethics, the right dream, the right focus, and are ready to really create something amazing. And so, again, I want to thank you, Kim, for the great leader that you are. I'm honored to be partnered with you, with Mike and Linda McCormick, with Samson, and all of the great leaders that are actually out building this, and the ones that are hiding in the shadows that are building this. We know who you are. And we just can't wait to lock arms and build something great. And so with that, thank you, everybody. God bless you, and have a fantastic week. Take care.
Thank you, everyone.